Wales Solicitors on DAB Digital Radio, and you can watch along right now on social media as well. And we are going to get into the Six Nations and set up the final round of the tournament with Super Saturday to come. Of course, Fraser was in Dublin, so we're going to get some of his thoughts, and Gordon and Tom as well. And we are joined, making a welcome return to the Pure West Sports Show, by Clive James. Clive, how are you?
Thank you. All good in Narberth.
Excellent stuff. And we're going to get into Narberth as well, of course. Let's get Fraser's view to start with, having been out there in Dublin. It finished 27-17 on Friday night. I do love a Friday night game as well. Much better than the Thursday night game we had at the start of the tournament. What was your thoughts, Fraser? Wales went close again, didn't they?
I mean, you might know of a Friday night game. You don't have to wander 2 miles back in the late hours of Dublin trying to find your Airbnb. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Get a violin out.
Look, it was a step forward again, wasn't it? You know, certainly defensively, they're looking to they've shored up a lot really since the opening defeats against England and France. Still conceded, but the amount of tackles that they made, the amount of tackles that Alex Mann played, the stats. You know, there wasn't probably enough threat with ball in hand yet. I think they probably didn't cause Ireland enough problems they should have done. There's still the way the kicking is being executed, I think, still needs work as well. But collectively, it was a much better performance. It was a much more solid performance. And look, they're competitive now. You know, the first 2 games of the championship, they weren't competitive. The last 2, they have been. The challenge now is to turn competitive displays into wins, of course. And look, we're still a long way off and not getting carried away by it. But for the first time, really, since probably the last, couple of years of the Gatland reign, you look like a team that's making progress and binding together a bit. So there is positivity there. But like I said, it's about turning that into results now.
And Gordon, we had that brilliant thing, which was a try by a prop. I do love to see that. And what a try it was too.
Yeah, what a lovely try. I mean, Clive would have been delighted with the show and go on their 22 and canter over. Fair play. Kiri took it well, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
It reminded me, going back, the last prop I remember was Gavin Jenkins when it was chipped ahead against Ireland.
The Ron O'Gara charge down, wasn't
it? Exactly. But yeah, it as Fraser said, it was a positive performance. Defensively, we were very good against a well-organised Irish side. We can't ask for any more at this moment in time, but we look as though we are progressing, and that's exactly what we want.
It has been tough, and let's bring Clive in now, because we've had plenty of discussion during the Six Nations with various guests, and it has been a bit tricky at times because the Wales performances haven't been very good for some time. But Clive, are there some real positive moments now we can take from these last 2 games? What was your view?
I think the work of the pack over the last couple of games, especially last week, was unbelievable. I know Carey scored his try, but his overall work around the field and his scrummages is tremendous. And how Gatland left him out, I'll never know.
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Dewi Lake is looking like a reformed player. Both them Wainwright, and what a player this David Jenkins is. I think he's a future Lion. He's everywhere. He's a hell of a player. It's so there are signs, real positive signs. I just worry a bit about the strength in depth. Especially at halfback, and on the wings and full back, I suppose. The real, lack of strength and depth is a bit of a worry.
And the positions we've always been strong, looking at the history of Welsh rugby. Scrum half, fly half, and a fullback. We've always had them. And we've had classy wingers over the years as well, haven't we?
Yeah. Clive, what about Tandy? Because a few weeks ago, we were saying, he will need to start getting something from this Wales side in terms of some better performances. Do you think he deserves some credit for what we've seen in these last 2 games? Because it does feel like he's hit rock bottom and now is moving this team on a bit. Do you think he deserves some praise for that?
Definitely, he deserves quite a bit of praise, really, because the doubters were really out to get him after the first couple. And he has shown that he could turn what people initially thought were average players into sort of real grafters, and showing a bit of spirit and a bit of more than spirit, really. I do agree that we do lack a bit of guile and a bit of creativity behind. I think that's a bit of a worry, but I think if we get the foundations right to start, I think it is a positive sign to go forward, and that will come hopefully.
The most important thing, Clive, as you know, as a player, is to get the basics right. We were
Absolutely.
starting to get the scrummage right. We're starting to get the line out right. And once you get those two phases right, that means you've got possession. You can start doing things with it. And they are looking a better side because they're doing the basics better than what they were.
Yeah, I do worry about our box kicking and some of the aimless
I hate
kicking.
it, Clive.
Yeah,
I know. You're kicking away possession and you're giving the ball. I don't understand it.
I did it for 20 years ago.
Like Scotland did against France. They competed for every ball that went up in the air. It was like 50-50. But when you're giving them time to just collect it, look around the field which way they're going to go, you're in trouble. I
did love that one for the purists, just touching that Scotland game quickly. You got Finn Russell, one of the most skillful, talented players of his generation, against one of the best sides in the world, and basically saying, right, to hell with this running malarkey, the sun's out and I'm spooting it right up there. We'll Gary-O in them to death.
We'll talk about that game in a sec. Fraser, just on the atmosphere with the Wales fans, I'm sure with you in that crowd it was really good, but you've commented before about the apathy around the stadium. What was the mood like with the away fans on Friday night?
There's a much more positive feeling actually around, certainly in terms of a lot of Welsh fans there making noise. Obviously when you're in an away stadium there's more pockets of them, but certainly afterwards I think is the main difference, Ben. It's been after games where we've noticed, haven't we, the apathy and the disillusionment, and we've talked about shipping 50 points to Argentina and no one really being surprised or angry about it. It was almost expected. Certainly afterwards, there was a much better air of positivity than I've seen from any performance actually so far in this championship, and a feeling that the team was going somewhere. It wasn't despondency, so that was good to see. And I mean, I actually want to come on to this with Clive at the moment. Clive, obviously heavily involved in Narberth, and we've talked a lot about the political situation in Welsh rugby at the moment and the situation of the national team. Clive, what do you sense the feeling is within the club game and within Narberth? Is there anger and disillusionment with the WRU? Is there backing for this EGM coming up, for example? And even things like international tickets. We've heard of a lot of clubs struggling to shift international tickets for the Six Nations because of the prices and obviously the performances. Have you found similar problems as well?
Definitely. I know the club didn't vote against the proposals and all that, but I don't think it is on. I think they left it to everybody else, to be honest. And I think that goes for a hell of a lot of other clubs. Do
you agree with it? Do you think we're just having more anarchy and kicking the can down the road here?
I think things are wrong from top to bottom. From the national, we've had a couple of weeks where things are a bit better, but regional, it's awful. Everything, the clubs, a lot of clubs are struggling. Junior sections, all over, and we're not getting to grips with it at all, are we? As a nation, it's awful. It is awful. Facilities, everything. I just look at Narberth. Narberth is supposed to be the sort of premier side in the county. We're struggling to get junior sides. We haven't been able to train in Narberth as a junior section for about 3 months.
Because of the weather.
We're actually training in a horse training area.
In a barn.
Well, if you can call it that, but it's awful, and a load of sides are struggling. Whitland, both, Whitland conceding 100 points. You might think but you might think that someone from Narberth now, would be laughing at that, but it's a real sorry state.
The way you're talking there, Clive, you're worried at the state of the game at grassroots level, and that won't filter through to senior level. Is that what you're really concerned about?
Absolutely. The only junior sides that are sort of real flourishing are the ones with the facility. Milford are doing great things at junior level. Tenby and Haverfordwest. All the clubs that have got use of 4G and facilities. You know, the rest are struggling. You wouldn't believe. Well,
interesting point.
That is an interesting point.
Yeah.
And it needs to be a level playing field, especially coming through as kids. You know, they need to have the same facilities.
We talk a lot about these 4G services, but it does guarantee that kids can train, you know, 100%, each week. And that, as Clive said, that makes a huge difference. Do you think the drop-off, is this, this might not be a fair comment, Clive, I'm more asking than necessarily stating this, but we've noticed, obviously, you know, like you said, teams are struggling to fulfill fixtures this year. You know, the current apathy, the lack of training time, the endless postponements haven't helped that. Is that something that's maybe affected Narberth Athletic a bit this year? Because obviously you had that very good last year getting promoted. I watched them earlier this season play Haverfordwest. They were very competitive. I've noticed you struggled to fulfill fixtures and actually not been able to field 15 for a couple of weeks now. Is that a result of a knock-on effect from other things?
With the athletic side, I think they've basically gone from a social side, which was basically they were playing friendlies and so forth with 30 boys there that all were guaranteed, you know, 30, 40 minutes, and it would be socializing after. The realization, the first year was always easy, and now the realization of competitive play, you know, up in tumbles and, well, like I said, Haverfordwest, the whole thing, and it's a totally different ball game. You know, I know Bill Ridge, who's done a hell of a lot of good work for Narberth Athletic. They've had a massive injury list, as well as everything. So put all that together, and it, you know, it's. I just hope we can turn the corners, you know, very quickly.
And we should mention on the pitch at the weekend, Clive, Narberth were pretty close to another famous win, weren't they? It's going to be close as the season it gets into its finale, but they were so close to pulling off a victory against Merthyr, going down by 22 points to 19. How are you feeling about that fight to stay above that relegation line?
I do think we stand a really good chance of staying up. You know, I think 2 or 3 good wins and we'll be okay. We have been far more competitive this year. It's been, and as I said earlier on, nearly all the side now are Pembrokeshire based. They're all Pembrokeshire players. You know, the joke around the county at times where there wasn't a Narberth player involved. But now we've got sort of Lloyd Phillips as a coach. Yeah. We've got like Sam Davis, Llew Jones, Ryan Rees, Will Boyd, Griff Evans, who's played an odd game, you know, and they're all come through Narberth junior section. So we have flown the flag for quite a while. We still need to sort of improve everything inside and outside of the club, but it's a hard-working club, and I'm proud to be part of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, let's just talk football, because I think you weren't at the Narberth game, were you, at the weekend?
No,
because you were
part-time
well, I think you've got a good excuse. The reason you weren't there was because Angharad was involved for Wales in a World Cup qualifier, and they beat Montenegro, didn't they, 6-1, having opened up last Tuesday with a 2-2 draw against the Czech Republic. So Angharad playing out in Seattle now. They'll be pleased with that start to the World Cup qualifying campaign, Clive.
Minute goal against the Czech has really sort of put a nice little sort of start together. You know, a good home win, and in a way draw against a team that's slightly ranked higher. So that, you know, it all goes well for the next few months, really.
Was there, sorry, Ben, for just coming in. Has it been feeling concerned, Clive? Because obviously they qualified for that first ever major championship, historic moment, the European Championships. Since then, it may have gone under the radar a bit through Europa League and friendly. They actually went on a long winless run, didn't they, of 9 or 10 before winning the last friendly before the qualifiers started. Was that more the after effect, maybe, of all the emotion and everything that went into getting to the Euros? Or was there actually genuine concern there that the wheels might have fallen off a bit?
Well, I do know from Angharad's side, they work tremendously hard, to keep where they are. We're punching above our weight, really, as a nation. But the games were all against higher ranked teams, and it's real difficult, an odd mistake, which you can happen at any time, is magnified in all these games, and it's and it kept on repeating itself, but they've stuck at it, and we could do with a couple of new younger players. It's a half aging team, but there were some real positive signs. I suppose this does give them opportunity of giving some of the younger girls a go. And the manager said to Angharad on Saturday that she wanted to have a look at someone else as well. So as well as managing her minutes, a couple of the younger girls had a go, which against the higher ranked opposition, it's difficult to give that exposure to those girls.
Sure.
Clive, you'll have one eye, I'm sure, on obviously wanting Wales to qualify, but I don't know if Gordon Fraser and Tom know where the next World Cup is. It's going to be in Brazil. So the first time the Women's World Cup has ever been in South America. Rio is going to be one of the host cities. That is going to be an exciting tournament to qualify for, Clive. I'm sure you'll fancy going out to support Angharad for that one.
Yes, I haven't missed many along the way, No. And this would definitely give food for thought anyway. That's all I can say with the family in the background,
How good would that be? A World Cup in Brazil. You're not missing that, Clive, are you? You've done the hard yards.
Exactly.
Sort of some hospitality.
Exactly.
The Maracana.
Yeah. The men, if they qualify, they have a game in Seattle. So that will be it's already on the calendar.
It's just got on my calendar, actually. I've got a contract. I was thinking of Canada before.
Yeah. You're not invited, Fraser.
Oh, good stuff. Well, listen, let's just finish then, shall we, by just looking ahead to what's to come on the final round of the Six Nations this weekend. Clive, we'll start with you. For Wales, it would be a really good end to what has been at times a difficult Six Nations with some improvement. But if they could beat Italy in Cardiff, that would be some way to sign off the tournament. Do you see that happening? I mean, Italy turned over some other side at the weekend. We can touch over that if you want. They're a good team though, aren't they?
I've been impressed with them for like 2 or 3 years now, even longer.
Yeah,
some of their creativity is the best in the competition. And people that were calling for them to be relegated.
Yes,
oh my God!
Not me.
No,
not me.
But yeah, I just hope we can sort of we can get a win, just to sort of put a positive slant on it, and go forward from there.
Do you know what, Gordon? I almost think we need to stop saying Wales have improved. Italy have improved. We almost do say that in a bit, almost a semi-patronising way, don't we?
It is patronising. Yeah,
they're a good team in their own right now. I was never that confident. I did have a feeling
they're on merit, aren't they? And they're playing some really good rugby. And Clive mentioned they're creative as well. And they're strong up front, and they can cause a lot of problems to any side at this moment of time. And I'm afraid Wales are going to have their work cut out to beat them again in the final game. We'd all love to see it, but there's no guarantees in rugby. And Italy will be coming here to spoil the party, that's for sure.
Is it on, Fraser? What do you think?
For a Welsh win?
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility. I think it'll be very difficult. I think the Italians are very well organised defensively. Clive and Gordon both touched on it. We're still lacking a bit of creativity and attacking dynamism, I think. And we will have to defend solidly. Look, Italy aren't a team that just grinds you down with forward power now. They can seriously play out wide. You saw the nature of their winning try against England, And I think importantly now, they're a much more mature team. It's all against England, 10-3, I think, 10-5 up. Just before half time, had a scrum on their own half. Italy contrived to lose the ball get turned over. England went down the other end and scored. And I thought then that's a huge moment, that they've blown it there through a lack of game management. And they rallied and they came back from that. And the Italy team in the past wouldn't have done that. Heads would maybe have gone a little bit. So look, can Wales win? Yes, I still favour an Italy win, if I'm being totally honest. I think they are the strongest side at the moment. But, we want to see at the very least cohesion and competitiveness, don't we? And another, defensive performance like we had in Dublin, of course, but we couldn't afford to do it in Ireland. We ran out of steam in the end. We won't be able to afford doing it to Italy. We cannot keep kicking away possession and just soaking up pressure, because as well as we defended as many tackles as we made, that does tell eventually, and it'll tell you.
It's been a mad old tournament, though, hasn't it? So,
incredible.
You never know. That win for Scotland was something, wasn't it? Murrayfield is an absolute cauldron of a place to go, and that was an incredible win. Clive, and are England going to go to France and cause an upset in the spirit of this bonkers tournament, or do you think France will get over the line and win the Six Nations?
The whole tournament has been bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
From start to everybody seems to be beating everyone's stupid scores. I hope France can win. Sorry, but
no, don't be sorry, Clive.
No, I know, but you could actually see England, coming back and going back to the old catch and drive and
up the jumper rugby.
You can just see them just pulling something out of the bag for that,
I tipped this as the Grand Slam decider at the start of the tournament.
Amazing, isn't
You
it?
did.
You can delete that clip if you find it.
Do you know what? The only prediction on this show that might just stand the test of time, I made one. And I said,
you would remember that.
I'm just going to remind you of this one, Gordon. I said
Scotland
to finish above Ireland in this tournament.
Okay. All
that
right.
I didn't think they'd win it.
I don't remember that phrase, do you? Not the phrase. I was talking to you, Fraser. I don't remember that.
I'd have to go to the archives.
Yeah, we shall see. All right.
It's a good point. There's been so much predicted in the champion.
That's why we love the Six Nations, don't we? It's a fantastic tournament, and everybody gets behind it and enjoys it, and and that's the important thing, enjoying rugby.
I mean, you've got to worry for Dublin, haven't you, on Saturday? Because the first game kicked off at 2 in Dublin between Ireland and Scotland, both within a chance. Whoever wins that will momentarily go top of the championship. It'll be about 10:15 until the final whistle goes in Paris.
And they
find it out. And from what I saw on Saturday, good luck getting much cohesion around the tellies in Temple Bar Street when that final whistle goes, I tell you.
And we will have a strange scenario of either Irish fans or Scottish fans getting right behind England in that game in Paris as well. It sums up the whole tournament. Listen, we're going to come back for the final part of the show in just a sec. Clive, thank you very much for your time. Great to have you back with us on Pure West Sport. You're always welcome, so we'll catch up again really soon. Thanks for being on tonight. Good to see you. We'll come back for the final part of Pure West Sport, and we'll have a look ahead actually to some Pembrokeshire interest at Cheltenham with the festival starting tomorrow. That's on the way next for a Monday evening.
Pure West Sport Show, sponsored